everybody, Planet Walls here. I decided, sort of on a whim, to cast the ChrisKool RexDart match this week, just because I knew it was happening when I was already on Magic Online, had some time. Um, so I guess I'll provide some single-man commentary on RexDart getting a soda pop. And it looks like he's back with his soda pop. And Chris mulligan to 6 and RexDart mulligan to 5. So this is starting out as an exciting match. RexDart is playing a blue-black based control list with a lot of artifacts. ChrisKool is playing a 3 or possibly 4 color Naya list based around survival of the fittest. And I could bring up their deck list, but I don't want to spoil any of the fun right now. Bam! The sensei's in the house. Alright. Am I gonna go to Gatherling? No, we're just gonna watch this. That's gotta be the only strip mine because it's restricted. The question is how many basics RexDart is playing. But it looks like, I would make that strip play too, given that RexDart had to mold a 3. It prevents him from being able to top and then shuffle it away. So that strip mine is clutch. Is clutch the right word there? I don't know. Followed up with a Hierarch, and down at RexDart's side of the board, what could he be doing here? Looking at the top 3 cards of your deck is pretty valuable. So he's got a second basic, which is probably going to be indestructible, given that strip mine is already in the yard. And RexDart is finished topping. Ooh, an Ancient Tomb. So his mana just got intense really quickly. Let's see if Chris can make something extreme happen with that Noble Hierarch. I'm hoping for a survival of the fittest to land. But instead we get a Thalia. So will Thalia get countered? My guess is that it will, since it sort of neuters the Ancient Tomb by 1. So top in response. And Thalia resolves. Oh man, Mom wants to come to play, come to town, whatever. She looks like she's loving her chamomile tea. I think I commented on a previous stream of the Invitational that whoever built her bookshelf did a really bad job, or the art is done from like a fisheye lens perspective. It's unclear to me which is the case. Now RexDart is thinking pretty hard. Is a Wormcoil going to drop? Probably not, because it costs 6. I would say it would be Tezzeret, the black-blue one, Agent of Bolas, but Thalia's out, making that cost 1 more mana. Okay, that's a fair play. With Mother of Runes out, any Planeswalker that RexDart plays is in a little bit of a worse position. Because the Baleful Strix just won't be able to block it. Block the Thalia, rather. I'm kind of disappointed, though, that I haven't seen a Survival of the Fittest, though. Oh, man. Actually, I'm not sure that that does much, except make it so that the artifacts that RexDart animates with Tezzeret can't do what they're doing. So a Sensei's Divining Top would turn into a 5/5 vanilla creature, not a 5/5 Divining Top. I have to imagine that RexDart would counter this if he could, but he would have to pay 3 life to do it with a Force of Will. Because you'd have to tap the Ancient Tomb to pay Thalia's tax. Linvala's kind of a funny card. I like this creature. Do you think these 4 women look like they could be in the same family? I don't know. Noble Hierarch doesn't look related to the other 2. I guess she has wings. That means she's probably less related to the other 3 than they are to each other. Yeah, because she's an angel and these guys are all humans. Or these gals. Okay, so this could mean that a Tezzeret comes out this turn. Yep. Alright, cool. And I guess Baleful Strix turns into a 5/5 probably. Or the top does. But probably the Strix. Then again, the top is colorless, making Mother of Runes unable to give a creature protection from the Divining Top's color. Now that's interesting. By doing that, Tezzeret now can be killed by Linvala with protection from blue or black. So I'm not sure that would have been a play that I would have made, but I don't know what's in RexDart's hand. Because RexDart could make the Divining Top a 5/5. And then I think that prevents Tezzeret from dying, but maybe preventing Tezzeret from dying just isn't that interesting of an option right now. Also, the Mana Crypt can become a 5/5, but then it can't tap for mana. Okay, so maybe RexDart has another Tezzeret? I mean, granted, he gets to Fog that turn. Maybe... I'm trying to figure out if I were ChrisKool whether I'd be attacking RexDart or Tezzeret there. Because getting through for 4 in the air is pretty good. Or attacking with Thalia and Linvala and seeing if RexDart blocks either. And then potentially giving one of those creatures protection. Okay, that's pretty funny. Squee's wearing the best coat. I don't really know anything about the Mask's plot, but is it that coat that keeps Squee from dying? That cloak? Looks like a cape plus a cloak on a hover tank. Looks like Squee looks like a giant red one of those wraiths from Halo. Bungie's probably going to sue because of that. Look at the Strix here. The plural of Strix is Strigace. And owls today are in the order Strigiformes. Not sure why I knew those things, but I did. And it looks like the walls in Mana Crypt, they look like they're breathing. Like they're inside the worm level in Splunky. I don't know. I wouldn't want to live in a Mana Crypt. It's just like a house full of triangular goatses. In case you haven't been able to tell, I've been pausing the recording during Sensei's Divining Top activations until they're done, because they're really time intensive. I know, because I play decks in paper and online that run it, and it's a pain in the ass. Now, I don't know if ChrisKool is running any lightning bolts. My suspicion is that he is not. Might be running swords instead. Now I'm curious, why didn't Squee, Linvala, and Thalia attack there? I mean, I guess it's possible that he's worried about defending against some 5/5 artifacts, but I would have pushed in just a little bit more damage if possible. Like, who cares if Baleful Strix blocks Squee? We have a coin flip loss. That's going to be hard for RexDart to recover from. And after a top, we have a concession. All right, I'll see you for game 2. Okay, so these two gents are sideboarding right now, so I'm going to take the opportunity to show you both of their decks. Here's RexDart's deck. Its primary kill looks to be with Blightsteel or with Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas. It has a lot of counter spells, card draw, and support in the form of Spell Pierces, Force Wills, Brainstorms, Jaces. We have some assistance with the mana in Talismans, Lotus Petals, and let's see what else we have. For removal, we have Diabolic Edicts, Engineered Explosives, Hurkyl's Recall, depending on what deck you're playing against. Mystical Tutor to find any of those cards, and then some additional combo pieces. So any of these artifacts, what increases the deck's flexibility is that any of the crappy little artifacts that are normally mana artifacts can turn into 5/5s with Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas. Even the Talismans. So then down here you have a mana base that's an Academy, Strip Mine. Doesn't look like any Wastelands though, but with 4 Ancient Tombs. And from the sideboard, I imagine some Perishes come in. Maybe a Mere Battle Sphere, and definitely a Cursed Totem and an Engineered Explosives. So Chris's deck is over here, but I'm going to see if they're in the game now. Nope, they're still sideboarding apparently. So the watch option seemed to be available. But Chris's deck is running 4 Spirit Guides, 4 Knights, just a ton of dudes. Mana dudes, including 2 birds, 2 Magus the Moon, Magi the Moon, Magi of the Moon, depending on how we're pronouncing our Latin. Single Hammer Mage, worst Rebecca Guay art ever, as RexDart noted to me in a conversation. Linvala, Scavenging Squee, Metamorph, some one-ofs here. Harmonic Sliver is an interesting one-of. And then we look down here, we see the 4 Survival and 2 Swords, and those are the only non-creature spells. We got a Maze of Ith in terms of land, and then some other non-basics primarily, and a couple basics. I think there are 5 basics. Red Elemental Blast probably coming in this matchup. Maybe Scavenging Ooze and Swords. Probably not, though, but they can remove Bolas targets. The Thrun probably comes in. I don't know, it's kind of funny to look at these. Caustic Wasps might come in. And Ingature probably, and maybe even Kataki. Mother of Runes was a winner that match, but it's not good against Diabolic Edict. So we'll see. So Chris mulligans to 6. Looks like RexDart on the play is keeping it 7. And one of the least played dual lands in Classic appears. I actually like the art on these old dual lands. It's a little more impressionistic than on like Misty Rainforest. It's a pretty ideal, I think, turn 2 play. For RexDart. Now Chris chose to use the swords now instead of wait for Tezzeret to make something else a target later as a 5/5. That seems right to me because Tezzeret can make the Baleful Strix a 5/5 as well. And then it's much more dangerous. Okay, so we have a Magus the Moon. Now that's kind of interesting, but it really precludes Chris from being able to use these lands effectively too. And RexDart already has a basic out. Nonetheless, he won't be able to fetch a basic swamp at this point. Assuming he has one. He actually doesn't have one. So it looks like he's cut off from red unless he drops a Lotus Petal. I'm sorry, not red. Or a Talisman of Dominance. I meant black. So Magus the Moon definitely loses some effectiveness because of the artifact versatility here. But it does make the Ancient Tomb a little bit worse, even if it can avoid dealing damage to RexDart. The real interesting thing is whether Chris has basics in his hand. Oh, I didn't have it up, but an Elvish Spirit Guide was just exiled. I could be wrong, but I don't think Rex activated the top at end of turn. This has to be a Tezzeret here. Maybe a Jace? No, it can't be a Jace. Yeah. It's still my temptation, I think. Maybe this would be wrong if I were playing this deck. I obviously am not playing this deck and don't know how it's to be played, but I'd be really tempted to make that Sensei's Dividing top of 5/5. Looks like Rex is thinking, so I'm going to pause. Alright, he did make the Sensei's Dividing top of 5/5. I wish it made creatures into the creature type of one of the words in the card name. So I wish this said artifact creature top. Oh. That's got to be irritating for both players. Doesn't do much that's interesting. And I would probably activate the +1 on Tezzeret here, unless I had another one in my hand. Interesting. So an Engineered Explosives for 3 kills both the Magi. Oh, it looks like Chris concedes this one. See you next game. Alright, we are in the third game of this match. Looks like ChrisKool went first and RexDart mulliganed. That's my assessment from looking at the board right now. Okay, and so we have a first turn mana dude with no counter spell. That's pretty good ramp. On turn 3 and play something for 4 mana. I'm sorry, in turn 2. And it looks like Thalia gets answered by a Mystical Tutor. Kind of answered. Not sure what he looks for here. Ooh. He's going for big money real quick. Oh man. So I was getting ready to call that game for RexDart. But now with Thalia out, the Tinker costs 4. So, if you're new to the game, or if you're not and you're just observing, note that the timing of different plays mattered quite a bit here. Because playing the Mystical Tutor gave ChrisKool information that Strip Mine was the next play to make. If he'd played the Strip Mine before, RexDart would have tutored for a different card. And so, just considering the order in which the lands were played, as opposed to when the attack happened, I'm sorry, when the Thalia was played, all that stuff matters quite a bit. So a Pride Mage here ends the game very quickly, and it also probably kills the Talisman. My guess is that RexDart is debating about whether to throw a blue card to a Force of Will. And he did, pitching the Tinker. I mean, my guess is just the RexDart couldn't afford to lose the Talisman at this point in the game, which makes sense. Okay, so RexDart is saying basically the game could be over. I'm not sure that that has to be the case because ChrisKool doesn't have. He's got 3 damage per turn right now, which is a 5-turn clock. That's quite a bit. Now this could be a Thrun. Okay, that makes the clock go turn into a 4-turn clock. But it's probably more like a 3-turn clock because RexDart will probably have to crack the Polluted Delta, which he just did. And it turns just the Thalia Noble Hierarch into a 4-turn clock when that land gets cracked. That's an interesting play. I'm curious if he's going to play another creature or kill the Talisman. Looks like he's just going to attack and then kill the Talisman. Yep. So keeping RexDart mana screwed is what's keeping ChrisKool in this game. And that's what all these aggressive decks have to do. Ooh. That Sol Ring's a nice rip for RexDart, though. And ChrisKool is back to not having that much pressure on the board. Though, that changed everything. It's a 3rd Pride Mage. If this can't get countered, and even if it can, that means Rex is left with no good cards in hand. I'm going to miss those features when we switch to the beta, or when we switch to V4 entirely. Yeah, so this has been a game with heavy mana screw. Even though that takes a turn off of Chris's clock, I think killing the Sol Ring is probably the right play there, almost assuredly. Though we have another mana source ripped. I bet he's sitting on a Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas, or a Jace, and he just can't play it. Nope. Nope, I must be wrong. That's an interesting play, because it means that a top deck Voltaic key wins him the game, probably. So playing that Time Vault is definitely right. And Rex has one turn here. This is actually kind of exciting, because if he draws the Voltaic key, Rex wins. But he did not. Thanks for watching, everybody.